Let's take a look at using DriveWorks Professional to run some specification tests. So let me just take you through why you might want to use this and what it is. First off, what is test mode? Well, this is what you use in DriveWorks Pro Administrator when things don't quite work right. Either somebody's been running some specifications and told you that there were problems, or you were monitoring the export files and you weren't getting what you expected. So the easiest way to enter test mode is just to start a new specification. Then you'll see a button that will allow you to go into test mode. But before you go straight to test mode, be sure you enter some things on the forms, especially any mandatory information or things that have other dependent drop downs. Otherwise, your test mode won't tell you the whole story. So make sure you fill it out like you really wanted to release a new specification. But just go through the steps to set it up, but don't release it just yet. Now make sure you're in test mode while you're running a new specification. This is different from the form test that just allows you to see, hey, does my drop down work while I'm doing the design? So that's a little different, not what I'm talking about today. So this is specification test mode. So the point of this software is, this part of the software is it allows you to look at your rules, see if they're doing what you thought they were supposed to do, as well as look at things such as the files that are going to be exported, make sure that they make sense and they're going to work. Now at this time in this video, I'm really just going to focus on the model rules tab, but you'll see when you go into test mode that there's an awful lot of things you can interact with. If you do need more help, just go to help.driveworkspro.com and either search for specification test mode, put that in double quotes, and it'll be the first result, or you could search by that knowledge base article number if you can write that down. Up next, we'll actually go through and run a specification in test mode. Here in DriveWorks Pro Administrator, I am already into a group, so I'll start a new specification based off of just one of my particular projects. In here, if I can go straight to test mode, but again, don't do that yet. Be sure that you filled out the forms so that there's something you can actually test against. In this case, I'll set the frame width to 62 inches. Notice this is the width really of my bottom shelf, and the upper shelves and so forth, the light and everything, they're obviously smaller than this top shelf. Now don't click release in the bottom corner because it would just take off and start making files. We want to enter test mode now. Once we do this, we get a bunch of tabs just above our form that allow us to interact. Each of these will give you feedback about what's going on. We're going to look straight at model rules. Pay attention that mine wrapped around, this is a 2015 function, they wrapped around so that it put this on the second row. It's just really based off of the width of your screen. So if you have a higher resolution, then it may just be way out here on the right. Looking at the tabletop, we will see the tabletop returned 62 for our width, because the rule is simply that the width of this particular part's the same as the width we type in. If we look at one of those upper shelves, we'll see that the length is actually different. And this is based off of a variable. We can see the height of the support bracket is also a function of that variable. And we can see what they're currently calculating to. If you want to get more specific, we can select this length, analyze, and step down through the rules to see how it was calculated. So it took the return value for the width and subtracted 4, that gave us the 58. Pretty simple rule, but handy that I can see where that 58 is coming from while I'm in the middle of a real specification. Much more difficult to try to do by going back to the actual form design, put in some sample values, then run your test, and then you have to go back and clear out those sample values perhaps. Another nice feature available to us in DriveWorks 12 is we could click Generate on Demand and it will just make that part for us. Or my favorite is Generate Queued Interactive. What this does is it looks like it's bringing up an actual macro or something that we can edit to see what's going on. It's really just showing us the steps, and we can either click Run and it will just run through all 13 steps, or click Step Into. So we see it is going to call this file, or it's already cloned the file with this new name. Make sure that it actually needs to make a new file. I already have that one, but I just told it go ahead and overwrite it. Then, up next, we'll see if we can open this thing in SOLIDWORKS. So now it should be open in SOLIDWORKS. Perfect. Check to see if we have any macros. We don't, so it's going to just line out steps 10 through 12. Drive a couple of dimensions. Make sure that those features are good. Rebuild the model. Skips through those steps. Saves the file. And then it's done. So we go back into SOLIDWORKS and we could bring up from our recent list the part that it just built to make sure that it meets all the criteria that we have. So don't forget, while you're in this test mode, this is still kind of in a run mode. So don't click back over and start doing design. Be sure that you complete or cancel this test mode. Another favorite thing to look at, it's been around for a long time, is while you're in model rules and test mode, look down the list of your file names. We will see the clone file name just to the right of the original file name. And then if it says new in brackets, it means it's a brand new file. If it says existing, it's going to reuse it. If it says a new alternative or something to that effect, it would actually be swapping this file out with maybe a static file that you've built. Lots of interesting things you can see, but be sure that you look through and you see the names of the files you expect, the result of, is it new, is it existing, did it have a problem with the name. Also look at any dimensions or features, or if you're in an assembly, you might need to look through and see what it's doing with specific instances to be sure it is driving those instances the way you expected. Again, when you're done, be sure to click Test Mode and then Cancel. For more videos like this, be sure to click subscribe below.